That's it, all them. And ready. They're off. They race 2 1/4 miles. Beylerbeyi, very slow to go. Stall number 5 drops in right at the back of the field as they begin for the Club Godolphin Cesarewitch. Bunting, Caprello, Firebrand all prominent. Seddon, black and green, definitely wants to lead here and strides through to a 2 or 3 length advantage already. From the nose-banded Fireblade up on the running rail then is Bashful Boy. Heap Hop de Loire in blue and yellow colours in a prominent place. Then Divine Comedy, Belgravians with her, the shunter next to those. Reverend Hubert coming forward here. The chestnut, blue and red colours. Sylvester de Souza's moved him into 3rd, maybe even 2nd. Further behind these Mordor, blue and white jacket is out wide. Then Bunting is settled with the dark colours of Ndawi. Polestar, silver jacket, blue cap is in company or just ahead of Dawn Rising. Extreme right on the outside of him is Vaguely Royal. Just goes ahead there of Polestar. Last year's winner, Alphonse Legrand, nose-banded runner towards the right, yellow and white colours. A little bit of problem there for Bunting, being buffeted around 2/3 of the way down the field. Winter Fog and Caprello behind this. Barnso is on the right towards the rear, red and white checks, and the one who was slow to go, Beylerbeyi, is with him and keeping in company at the rear. In front, though, black and green colours for Seddon. Reverend Hubert running in 2nd, and Bashful Boy up the running rail in blue and white shows in 3rd. It's another blue and white jacket, 2 lengths away from Mordor, who shows in 4th place with the red sleeves of Vaguely Royal. A dark blue and pink jacket of Fireblade is next as they come to the turn into the last 1.25 miles. Heap Hop de Loire is further back in the blue and yellow colours, and then Polestar, the silver jacket with a blue cap. Divine Comedy against the running rail in red and light blue, another red jacket of Belgravian tracks her. The shunter with the cap change, green and white, the first colours white cap, Dawn Rising is right on his tail. Alphonse Legrand is further back, they're past halfway now, and Darby, very dark colours, he'll be about 6 or 7 from the back of the field. Bunting had a little bit of problems early on, blue and white is with him. Then comes Caprello towards the right, light blue with stripes on the sleeves. Winter Fog is next, Beylerbeyi and also Barnso are up the rear of the field, but they are well down the straight now and well inside the last mile. The leading trio just getting away a bit. Seddon, Reverend Hubert, and with them a 3rd run in the race for Bashful Boy. They're 3 lengths clear to Mordor. Heap Hop de Loire. Alphonse Legrand is making good progress in the yellow and white. Fireblade is next. Belgravian begins to make a forward move with Divine Comedy. The shunter is next. Caprello, widest on the course, is beginning to run on. Bunting is about 4 from the back at the moment. He's angling out to come into pure daylight down the centre, and he's making progress. But Reverend Hubert has taken it up now as they head down with a half mile to go. Mordor immediately challenges with the noseband. Alphonse Legrand joins these. Caprello is next. Bunting has moved into 5th and is getting closer. Bashful Boy and Heap Hop de Loire behind those to Belgravian. Then Dawn Rising towards the right. A white cap begins to run on. Winter Fog is coming from the back of the field. They're past the bushes. Alphonse Legrand, Dawn Rising, Beylerbeyi started slowly, and Bunting. Reverend Hubert is behind those, but now as Sheen Murphy on previous winner Dawn Rising is leading. Beylerbeyi is nearest to us with Billy Loughnane, and it's this pair who will fight it out, and Beylerbeyi was the last one to get going. He will be the first one home. Beat Dawn Rising, Bunting, Divine Comedy, Reverend Hubert, Nadawi and Belgravian.
First, number 9, Beylerbeyi. 2nd, number 4. 3rd, number 6. 4th, number 2. And the 5th place horse, number 16. So the provisional results of today's feature handicap, the Club Godolphin Cesarewitch. First, number 9, Beylerbeyi. 2nd, number 4, Dawn Rising. 3rd, number 6, Bunting. 4th, number 2, Divine Comedy. And the 5th place horse, number 16, Reverend Hubert. The distances were 1 1/4 lengths and 2 1/4 lengths, 1 1/4 lengths and 2 1/4 lengths. The winner's time was 3 minutes 40.
Ian Williams trains Beylerbeyi, and he's actually quite emotional, and I wanted to know why in particular. Why so emotional?
Because I'm stood next to you.
You know that's not the answer. Come on, tell me what you told me before.
No, I just feel this horse has been a little bit unfortunate at Doncaster and Newbury last time. And at Newbury I said to the lads, I said, look, you know, let's take our blessings. This means we don't have a penalty in Cesarewitch and we'll have a better chance. But we really, you know, when you see his style of running and the way he behaves in his races, to bring him here and get him settled enough to the start, get him to settle and actually see the trip out. You know, we were, honestly, I didn't think he'd stay the trip today, but I thought we've got to give it a go. It's a massive handicap. We're a few pounds well in, and hopefully Billy will manage to settle him out the back, which he did. And then when he decided to go up the inside, I thought, well, that's the brave man's route. And then he found, and the gap opened lovely, and then it was entirely up to the horse, and the horse found and dug deep, and he did his job really well.
It was an utterly superb ride, wasn't it?
It was a superb ride. I mean, it's a future champions day, so that's horses and jockeys, and you know, Billy's done a fantastic job today.
And talk me through the story of this horse, because it is quite extraordinary. When he first joined you, sort of rated about 60, tried over 5 furlongs. It must have been a long journey to here.
It was a long journey, and my great friend Rupert Pritchard Gordon, who now works in France, suggested that we had a look at the horse at the sales, and he said he's a bit of a sprinter, but he's a big brute of a horse, and I think he was running over 5 in France as a 2-year-old. And it's literally taken 2 years to teach him to settle, because when you see him at home and you see how exuberant he is, you would think he was a sprint, but he's actually not very fast. So he's got this huge motor, but he uses too much petrol very early on. So actually calming that motor and switching the turbo down has been really, really very difficult to do. But yeah, he's ultimately exceptionally talented. Exceptionally talented.
Why do you say that?
To be able to do what he's done today, I mean, he's pulled to the start. He's warm, he's hot, he's sweaty. He's been dragged to the back at the beginning of the race, and he's actually come from last to win his race quite nicely in a very competitive Cesarewitch field over a really stiff 2 miles 2. That takes a hell of a lot of doing, and you know, the horse has masses of ability. And if you could pop him out and sit 4th or 5th with him, just imagine what he could do.
I can hear the pride for you and your team, though, in this achievement.
It's a huge job. James, who rides him at home, was a little bit concerned about him in the week because he was quite keen during his work, but we've actually had to work him really hard this week just to keep him from getting too fresh and too well. He's had a tough season. He's had a lot of racing. Yes. And you know, he thrives on it, so you know, we've got something to look forward to.
Very much so. You know, you were saying that also part of the emotion was the significance of winning the Cesarewitch. Obviously you've won lots of our great races, but this is one of a very famous race.
We've been very unlucky in the Cesarewitch. We've been placed over a long period of time for many years, and winning it's nice. It feels really special. It's good to be here at Newmarket winning the Cesarewitch.
And what do you think he can go on to do now then?
I don't know. The Red Sea turf in Saudi becomes an option. We've just got to see how we go from there, really. But let's get him home. There's nothing left for him in the UK this year. Ultimately, small fields might be his thing, because you can relax at the back of a small field and you haven't got so many horses to overtake. But we'll see where we go. He is actually in the October sales, and I have to discuss with the owners. They're not keen sellers, but you know, they're normal, hard-working people. You know, when horses reach a value and can possibly go on and do something else, you never know what might happen. But it'd be good to have him in the spring and maybe travel him abroad. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, that'll be an interesting conversation to have, and clearly a celebration first. You mentioned field size. It gives me a segue into my final question. You're, I think, very well placed to answer it. Only 19 runners in the Cesarewitch, only 21 declared. There would have been 10 British trained entries, only 9 as it turned out. You have pivoted your business away from jump racing and more towards flat racing to a large degree. What's going on here in your view?
Well, a lot of these horses are being sold abroad now. We've always, our business has thrived on winning prize money in valuable handicaps. You know, this year we've Racing League, Shergar Cup, all of these races where there's a high percentage of prize money we really have a go at, and it pays dividends. So what's happening, I think a lot of our a lot of our handicap stock, particularly at the top end, is going abroad. Interestingly, in the horses in training sales at Newmarket at the end of the month, there are, I think, don't quote me, well, you'll have to quote me because I'm saying it, but I think there are only 8 or 9 horses rated higher than Beylerbeyi in that sale, which is very unusual. So those horses have either been withdrawn or sold prior to the sales, and I think a lot of our good stock is going abroad, Australia, Dubai, Bahrain, where there's very good prize money to win. And ultimately, if we've achieved something with a horse and somebody wants to pay a lot of money for it, then they're going to move on, aren't they? But these big handicaps, 19 runners, is probably the smallest field we've had in years in the Cesarewitch.
In this century, definitely. And if we want to keep these races, we're going to have to do something about this, aren't we?
We are, but today I was very happy it was only 19 runners because we didn't have an extra 10 to overtake.
I'm glad you found a way to finish on a high note. Well done, Ian. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Billy Loughnane has won the Cesarewitch on board Beylerbeyi. Many congratulations. That looked like an ice-cold ride. Talk me through it.
Yeah, obviously he's been progressive all summer. He just keeps improving and improving, and my hardest part's getting him to the start. He's a handful down there, but in the race he actually races quite economically, and I always knew I was going well. It's just a case of whether he stayed the last furlong.
And he cut his tongue on the way to post because he was fighting you so much. Is that right?
Yeah, he's hard work. He
Wow.
he has to go early and try and keep him as relaxed as possible, but he was still a ball of sweat going in the stalls, and if he can get the prelims a little bit better, there's probably a lot more improvement.
And so talk me through those closing stages.
Yeah, our plan was to sit last going up in trip and just switch him off, and I knew I was a long way back. I was just trying to find something that would take me into the race well, and I managed to see Will and Oisin a few horses front, so I got on Oisin's tail with 3 to go, and thankfully he went through the gears and picked up.
This is one of the most famous handicaps that we have. You must be delighted to win it.
Yeah, for sure. It's always great to be competing in the bid races, and I've had a dream season, so hopefully it's not over yet.
No, hopefully it isn't. Much deserved. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.